Hi, my name is Gary, and today's objective is the analysis of one of my favorite VGC sets of all time. We are talking about the Great War between Sejun Park versus Ryosuke Kosuge at the 2013 Pokémon World Championships. I particularly like this set because it demonstrates the basic concept of Pokémon quite well. It shows the performance of a strong lead, the grinding game, as well as well-planned endgame. So without further ado, let's hop right into the team preview. On Sejun Park's side of the end, we have got a Hailroom team featuring the following Pokémon: Magmar, Marowak, Tornado's Eye, Abomasnow, Scrafty, and Jellicent. What really shines through in this team is the balance between support and offense. No Pokémon is ever a sitting duck, boasting some sort of offense it can rely on. For example, Magmar nukes with its Overheat attack. After having burnt out, it can still support its teammates by boosting the damage done by its partner in crime with the move Helping Hand, or redirect attacks with Follow Me. Firstly, Marowak is an unappreciated powerhouse, which, thanks to its thick club, has a virtual base attack stat of 212. Secondly, Marowak can passively support its teammates with its ability Lightning Rod. Tornado's Eye, while deterring intimidators, he covers a wide offensive spectrum which threaten the team in general, such as Landorus Therian outside of Trick Room, Tyranitar, Amoonguss, just to name a few. Abomasnow. It is the reason this team is called Hailroom. An archetype built around one Pokémon says it all. Although Abomasnow's offensive stats aren't the best, its tapping makes up for it offensively. There are too many Pokémon in the metagame weak to the combination of Ice and Grass for Abomasnow not to be good. Scrafty supports the team with its Intimidate ability and Fake Out attack, allowing for better endurance of the team as well as creating free turns for your partners. Jellicent, although looking like a more defensive Pokémon stat-wise, is actually offensively built on this team. This Jellicent in particular carries the attacks Water Spout and Shadow Ball, the former of which is boosted once with the help of a Water Gem. All in all, most of the Pokémon boast damage increasing items. Sejun intended to do as much damage as possible in the scarce 4 turns of Trick Room. But, let's have a look at Ryosuke's team. Ryosuke is using the same Pokémon he used to win Japan Nationals in 2013. Rocking a Tyranitar, Heatran, Landorus T, Cresselia, Thunderous Eye, and a Conkeldurr. On his team, the tasks of offense and defense are separated, while Cresselia and Thunderous are strictly for defense, speed control mainly. The other 4 Pokémon are used to take advantage of the speed control, set up by Thunderous's Thunder Wave or Cresselia's Trick Room. Tyranitar is on the surface of this team a strict offense mod. However, it supports the Sunny Day to support the team from taking too much damage against water type attacks, as well as increasing Heatran's damage output. Heatran and Conkeldurr are 2 of the main attackers of the team, taking advantage of the trick room set up by the Cresselia. Landorus T is the mid to fast tier mon on the team, supporting it with its Intimidate ability. Now, let's talk about the matchup. This matchup is a pretty interesting one, since it should be in Sejun's favor but can easily fall into Ryosuke's hands, if played correctly, since Ryosuke has in fact the tools to protect himself from Abomasnow. After having discussed the game, let's hop into the first turn of the game and discuss it as we go. Sejun decides to lead off with Jellicent and Scrafty, opting for an immediate setup of the Trick Room, and therefore going for an offensive lead. Ryosuke, on the other hand, leads carefully into this lead of Sejun's with a balanced core of Thunderous and Landorus. There are a couple of ways this turn could turn out. Firstly, Sejun does not know if the opposing Thunderous is carrying the move Taunt to prevent Trick Room, so the probably safest move is to use Fake Out on the Thunderous, and Trick Room with Jellicent, since the Landorus cannot do too much damage after the Intimidate from that Scrafty. On Ryosuke's side, he has a couple of options. He can easily see through Sejun's plan to set up Trick Room, but cannot really prevent it from happening. Therefore, he could switch one of the Pokemon, preferably their Landorus since it is intimidated and weak to Jellicent's Water Spout attack, out, and bring in a Pokemon slower than both Sejun's ones, namely Conkeldurr. Let's see how the turn plays out. But as we can see, Ryosuke stays in with both of his mon and opts to go for Earthquake or Landorus despite being intimidated to weaken Jellicent's Water Spout damage output. Jellicent gets off the Trick Room quite safely. Interesting information in Thundurus being equipped with the leftover item is being revealed. Turn number 2. The way turn 1 played out, Sejun is free to fire off a water gem boosted water spout, which is only in his interest to do, since water spout's damage is dependent on the user's HP level. Considering Marowak's role on the team, it is a preferable thought for Sejun to put it out against the opposing Thundurus, to block electric type attacks like Thunderbolt or Thunder Wave from happening. The switch from Scrafty to Marowak is also in Sejun's mind because Scrafty's damage outpost is diminished after Landorus intimidate on it. On Ryosuke's behalf, Landorus is in quite a predicament, being out against a water type Pokémon, which can easily one-hit KO it. The possible moves for Landorus are either to protect, which is unlikely since it does not shift the momentum in any direction, or to switch out, preserving the Landorus and the intimidate. In spite of Trick Room being up, Thundurus is able to move first, thanks to its Prankster ability. However, this only includes non-damaging moves. In a way, if Thundurus is expecting a Marowak switch in, it is a sitting duck, so switching it out would not be outlandish, even though it has a favorable matchup against both of Sejun's mons. Let's see how the turn plays out. Turn plays out with Thundurus going for Swagger onto Jellicent, probably expecting a Marowak switch in. The Landorus stays in as well, not to expect protecting itself, contrary to my expectations. Scrafty is using Drain Punch against the Landorus, probably expecting a switch out, or wanting to break the sash without consuming its Dark Gem, which he carries. The Jellicent goes for a Water Gem Water Spout and knocks out the Landorus, giving Sejun a 4-3 Pokemon advantage, but not a momentum advantage, as Ryosuke is easily able to switch in whatever Pokemon he prefers, and since Scrafty is intimidated and Jellicent having used its Water Gem, Sejun's damage output is not looking all too well, and in fact Ryosuke brings in Conkeldurr, swinging the momentum into his favor. Turn 3. Ryosuke is in a hypothetical situation where he can pick 2 knockouts easily. Conkeldurr can Hammer Arm the Scrafty, and Thundurus can Thunderbolt the Jellicent for a knockout. Sejun cannot deal a lot of damage, so switches are preferred on his side of the field, especially from the Scrafty. On top of that, Jellicent is confused thanks to Swagger, so the chances of her moving are decreased significantly. Marowak hits the field on Scrafty's position. Let's see how the turn plays out. As I said, Marowak hits the field on Scrafty's position. With this switch, Sejun does not only conserve his Scrafty, but also protects its Jellicent from future electric type attacks from the opposing Thundurus. Hammer Arm hits into the now Marowak spot and does a lot of damage, almost knocking it out. Jellicent hits itself in confusion, unable to attack, and Thundurus is redirected by Marowak's Lightning Rod. Turn 4. The fact that Jellicent was unable to attack last turn leaves Sejun in quite a bad spot against Ryosuke's Conkeldurr. Sejun certainly needed some type of damage on it to pick it up in the following couple of turns. Also, Sejun probably did not expect Hammer Arm to do this much damage to Marowak. Since Marowak is in Mach Punch KO range, Sejun needs to protect it to further preserve Jellicent on the field. For Ryosuke, the plan is quite apparent. Dependent on his Pokemon in the back, he needs to preserve the Thundurus since it might be the only Pokemon able to hit Jellicent for decent damage. On Conkeldurr's part, it is a little simpler since Conkeldurr can only hit Marowak with its attacks. It is going to Mach Punch it. Let's see how the turn plays out. As expected, Thundurus switches out into Tyranitar. Marowak protects, while Conkeldurr attacks into it, and Jellicent breaks through confusion and uses Water Spout. Turn 5. In this last turn of Trick Room, which, contrary to what one may think, is beneficial to Sejun, the one who set up in the first place. This awkward situation is due to Ryosuke now having the slower Pokemon on the field. Sejun can though get out of this predicament by protecting his Jellicent and sacrificing his Marowak. I'm considering a sacrifice of Marowak since Sejun wants to get in a fresh Pokémon, which cannot be picked up by Conkeldurr's Mach Punch. The turn plays out with Marowak double protecting, as well as Jellicent protecting, blocking Ryosuke's attack and stalling out the Trick Room. However, this leaves Marowak open for a Mach Punch next turn. As mentioned, Mach Punch is a strong possibility from that Conkeldurr. Marowak cannot do too much to prevent this scenario. Jellicent is open to Water Spout or Shadow Ball at this point, although Shadow Ball probably has enough power to push through Conkeldurr at this point. Tyranitar can easily fling its Iron Ball at Jellicent, allowing it not only to knock it out, but also neutralize the decrease in speed, which it had to make it one more time to faster than Sejun's remaining Pokémon. The turn concludes with Sejun losing 2 Pokémon and going down to a 2-3 Pokémon disadvantage. However, he has now new Pokémon at his disposal, while Ryosuke's Pokémon are heavily worn out and fainted easily. It is shown that Abomasnow is Sejun's last unrevealed Pokémon. Scrafty gets intimidated on 2 physical attackers, which is very beneficial for Sejun. A shift in momentum happens. I'm just waiting till the turn plays out so I can catch up with my commentary or my analysis of what is happening. So Sandstorm damage going on to that Conkeldurr. And as I said, Abomasnow and Scrafty switch in. With this field, Sejun can just now use Fake Out to either knock out the Conkeldurr, but since Hail or Life Orb Recall would knock it out anyway, he would most likely refrain from doing so and opt for a Fake Out, Fake Out onto this Tyranitar slot, as well as Abomasnow using Giga Drain against the Tyranitar as a means of super effective damage. However, Ryosuke has a Thundurus in the back, which could switch in and take the Giga Drain effortlessly. On top of that, a Blizzard now that Tyranitar's special defense is not increased would probably take it out as well. A Blizzard could cover both options. Ryosuke's only hope is for Sejun to Giga Drain the Tyranitar slot, while he switches in his Thundurus to take it. As expected, Scrafty uses Fake Out into the Tyranitar slot. Conkeldurr uses a last-ditch effort Mach Punch against the Scrafty, and Abomasnow uses Blizzard, leaving Sejun with a 2-1 lead against Ryosuke. Tyranitar comes in as the last survivor of this game. As we see the animation go out, Sejun's last hope is to get some nifty Rock Slide flinches, which he also proceeds to take into consideration. Scrafty needs to break through the 30% chance of flinching and Brain Punch the Tyranitar for a 1-0 lead in this series. As we see the Tyranitar coming in, it's kind of inevitable that the demise of this turn. Needless to say, Scrafty pulls through and takes home the first W for Sejun. Game 1 concludes like this. As we see, Abomasnow not flinching either, able to Giga Drain that Tyranitar, almost knocking it out, healing some damage, and then the crucial moment where Scrafty not flinching is actually good and my syntax is actually a little crap, but whatever. This concludes Game 1. I hope you enjoyed my analysis. Stay tuned for Game 2.